Two in one, and we're live. This is TikTok Live number 79, guys. 79 is the Sunday, the 5th of October, 2025. Oh, here we go. See Benji with the first. Oh, no. First question was Dr. Alessandra Redis. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. It was a great weekend. I was in the city on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, hanging out with my fiance. I got to see some friends from dental school, saw some friends from residency yesterday. Got a little happy hour, hanging out on my friend's rooftop. Just good. See, Benji asked, how's the job been so far? Job's been good so far. Just, yeah, busy trying to find more time to study for boards and do the mortgage and get hospital privileges. There's still a lot going on, like in the background. That I'm trying to figure out. It's there's a lot going on. Nando joined. Dr. A liked the live. Yes, Alig joined. Dr. Alessandra Redis, how are the first months working? It's good. It's good. It's busy. Like first you got to adjust to like the systems and everything where you write notes, send out prescriptions, and managing all on top of seeing patients and stuff, and then learning how the team works, learning who the team members are, and that's all going on at the same time with starting at the practice. You're trying to, especially in oral surgery, during the first 6 months, you're probably studying for your board exam. So that's on top of everything. I'm moving into my house out in Smithtown, getting a mortgage, so trying to get that going, and got the boards courses coming up this week and then in 3 weeks. So yeah, it's been busy. I think everything will really start to settle down after the board exam, and that'll be February. So fortunately, we got like 5 months until then. It's going to be a while, but I guess we got to do it. Dr. Alessandro Redis, do you like full arch? Is it something you do or want to get into? It is something I do. I did a lot of all on X, overdentures for implant overdentures, and I did a lot in residency, but I haven't done any cases yet here in practice. I mean, I'm a month in, you know what I mean? I need a little more time for everything to kind of settle down and get going and work with referring dentists and such. I'm excited to do that though. Amanda said, what's your all-time favorite procedure to do? I would say extractions and implants. I would definitely say implants. We get to replace those teeth. It's nice that we have technology these days to do that. And it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding for the patient. It's very rewarding to work with the general practicing dentist to make sure I put the implant where they want it, and then they can restore it nice and easy. That's what it's all about. Another procedure, yeah, I mean, all four wisdom teeth, full bone impactions is a good one. It's a good challenge sometimes, and yeah, those are always a good time. Those are fun. But see, Benji said, what brand of implant do you use? Well, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it. Our practice uses Straumann and BioHorizon. I use Nobel a lot in residency, and those are the three I've used that I've those are the only three I've used, and we don't have Nobel in the practice though. I would like to get them in there, but between Straumann and BioHorizon, it seems to be a good. Which one do I use? Which one do I? That's my favorite. Well, maybe I got to talk to one of these brands to see which one I like better. But Amanda said, any tips, advice for lower molar surgical extractions? Yeah, make a nice trough. You want to make a nice trough. It's always nice, like when that tooth really starts to like break down. It's really nice if you have a CBCT to know exactly where that nerve is so that you can avoid it during the surgery. And sometimes, like last week, I had to stop in the middle of the case and say, hey, I'm really getting down in here. I'd like to get a CBCT to know exactly where that nerve is to avoid it as I keep going deeper to get the tips of these third molars out. And it just kept going and going. They kept breaking down. They were bulbous and curved mandibular molars. 2 weeks ago, I had one guy had three rooted mandibular molar. That's much more rare. And God, it took forever to get that tooth out. Sam Miller .3 said, "What's the most arrogant doc specialty?" I don't know. As far as in dentistry, I've been hearing things from people that it's actually changing. But Three Angel Slight said, "Any tips on feeding a 5-foot albino gator?" I don't know. Three Angels Light said, what are the pros and cons of ducklings versus turtles? Joel said, I use Nobel Conical Connection. Yeah, Nobel Conical Connection is good. That's a good one. Three Angels Light. Pros and cons of ducklings versus turtles. I know turtles are pretty cool. They live a long time. Cute little things. They just kind of live in their little aquarium cage thing, I guess. Dot said, longest procedure you've done. Cancer surgery, where you resect a big portion of the jaw, and then what we would do in residencies, we would do a combined case with like the plastic surgery team or the ENT team for the reconstruction. And we would do the resection, the excision, taking the mandible out, taking the cancer out and stuff. And then they would go in and they would take like a fibula, for example, or a scapula or a pectoralis flap and put that into the defect to reconstruct it. Yeah, so that's some stuff that we did. JFCJDBDJ said, hey, Doc, any tips for interviews, especially for telling me about yourself? Thank you. The thing with telling me about yourself is, remember, they're trying to get an idea of who you are, right? I would always mention some things that are unique to you, like hobbies, like things that you do on weekends. Do you work out a lot? What sports you played growing up? Do you play any instruments? things that are unique to you. Something that's going to leave you with a lasting memory in their mind. Okay, that's going to be really important because they're having so many interviews throughout the day. If you could connect with someone with a sport that you both played in high school or college, with an instrument that you both play, with maybe you both love to cook, maybe you both know. There was VCU had a program director who was got like a culinary degree in Asian cuisine, which was like just super unique. The guy was also a pilot too. Very talented guy. I really liked him a lot. And so anyone who was a chef or cooked or was a pilot or something along those lines, they would have an additional conversation on the side where they would connect very directly. And so that's something to think about. Okay, think about that on the interview. All right, you want to connect with someone in a unique way. I got something in my eye. You want to make sure you're mentioning all the things that are unique and even weird stuff that you like that's weird, because it's a way that you could connect with that interviewer. All right, user 44577. How much are you working, doc? Love you, by the way. You're my idol. You're very kind. I'm working Monday through Friday. I work from 9 to 5, but I've been getting out 1 to 2 hours later, whether it be calling patients after surgeries, whether it be calling patients the next day to ask them if they have any questions prior to coming in, whether it be finishing up notes at the end of the day, whether it's finishing up some emails and phone calls and stuff. And once a week, I bring donuts to a referring doctor's practice, someone I want to know. Get to know a little bit better, and I stop in and say hello. The person I went to last week wasn't there, so maybe I'll try again this week, or I don't know. But yeah, so it's good. But yeah, I get there whatever on time or within a half hour before, and then I'm always usually staying later because the day doesn't end when the surgery ends. It ends when the notes are done. When you call all the patients, see how they're feeling, see if they picked up their prescriptions, stuff like that. So the days are long. The days are very long. I'd like to, after the boards, shift from the 9 to 5 that I'm currently doing to 8 to 4, because I think even eight is like a late start compared to residency, right? And then get out around 4, which means I'd be getting right around 5, which gives me another hour in the afternoons to get a workout in, spend time with my fiance or something. That's what I'm looking to do. But right now I study in the mornings, so having that hour in the morning is really important for me. But yeah, I get home late if I get to the gym, and I'm getting home between 8 and 9 every night. Like, so it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to do. You gotta dedicate yourself to take the next step. User 4457. How much are you working? JFC Day JD. I feel my answer is running on with no end. Well, write it down. Hit some bullet points. You should be hitting like 5 bullet points or so in like a minute to a minute and a half. And mention some things where, like, maybe you're a family person. Maybe what are your religious habits? What, maybe you go to church on Sundays. Do you spend a lot of time with your family? What do you like to do with your family? Stuff like that. Give them something to connect with. Um, 3 Angels Light. The shells won't clog him up. What shells? What shells? Dr. A said something in Arabic. I can't see. I don't know how to read that. I'm sorry. Samueler.3 said, outside of dentistry, what's your dream job? Oh, it would be music producing. I love music producing. That's one of my favorite things to do in this world. And hopefully I could do that a bit more. I got a music producing day. We were refining, mastering, and editing a song that I made from like 9 years ago. We did that this summer, which was pretty cool. Hopefully we could do more in the future. But yeah, that's probably my dream job. I really enjoy that. And I really enjoy podcasting. I really like doing this. I get to connect with other people. I get to answer any questions, help you guys out with any mentoring, KM the Dream _ said, my jaw shifts to the side when I open my mouth past 50%. Why is that? So I don't know your specific situation, but many times it has to do with the translation of the jaw. The first thing that happens with the jaw is rotation. So first the jaw rotates downward, right? After that, there's translation, where it translates down over the articular eminence over here, that's up in this area, and translates down, and that gives you an extra extension. During the translation, the disc of the TMJ, of the temporal mandibular joint, the disc translates with the condyle of the mandible, or at least it's supposed to. But when you shift to one side, sometimes it might get caught back a little bit and it isn't translating, and then it finally pops back into place. That's usually what's going on when you're like rotating your mandible to one side as you open it. All right. Not medical advice, just trying to articulate a point, Dr. A said, good night, my time. I am from Iraq. Yeah, that's got to be late over there, Dr. A. Dr. A, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, friend. Wishing you a good week ahead. Hannah Bonanza said, DDS? Yeah, I'm DDS, Doctor of Dental Surgery. Guys, DDS and DMD, they're the same thing. The degree is the same thing, but the DDS is Doctor of Dental Surgery. DMD is basically Doctor of Medicine and Dentistry. And it's the same degree. It's just a different name because certain institutions give that the DMD degree. Certain institutions give the DDS degree. It's really It's arbitrary. C. Benji said, do you know how selective Stony Brook Dental is with out-of-state applicants, or do they not care? They're more selective towards in-state. It's a state school. You know what I mean? It's a SUNY school, State of University of New York. But I had kids in my class that were from out of state, Maryland, Connecticut, New Jersey, in those areas, if I remember correctly. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely Connecticut, Boston, Massachusetts. Those, if I remember correctly, those are some of the ones. Did we have Florida? I forget if we had Florida or not. But yeah, so they take applicants from around the area too. Carissa said, "Do you have any insight or experience on West Coast OMFS programs?" Carissa, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know too much. I don't know too much about the West Coast programs. I do know Dr. Serv Wahan. You can look him up. He's Dr. Wahan. He's big on social media. He's in Seattle, Washington. So I think it's University of Washington. He works like one day a week or one day every 2 weeks at the dental school over there. Sports Stock said, "You're such a smart guy. I just wonder, are you doing this for the money, or do you love what you do? To do what? Do what for money versus loving what I do?" Sports Stock said, "I seriously think you could have become an investment banker or something financial." Well, I mean, hopefully you can see, I mean, how many other oral surgeons are signing on to TikTok to do a live where I'm answering questions, to mentor and educate and try and bring value to wherever you are in your path, your career path in life. So if I wasn't caring about other people, regardless of being a surgeon or not, you see, does that make sense? You see where I'm going? Anyway, Carissa said, favorite and least favorite procedures. Yeah, the favorites are, I really like all-in-X procedures. I really do. I really enjoy all-in-X procedures and seeing patients' life be completely changed from having broken down teeth scattered throughout their mouth and cavities to taking all those bad teeth out, putting in implants, seeing them heal over time, a denture be put on top. And now they have a full smile again. They could smile at their kids' games. They could smile when they go to work for that interview for what it may be, with family at the holidays. And that's really nice. Yeah. Least favorite procedures, ankle teeth with previous root canal treatment that just break down and down and down and down. And they're loud. They're noisy for the patient to hear it keep snapping and breaking. And it happens sometimes. Hannah Bananza said, "Oh, okay." Nick the Fergie said, "I'm currently a nurse in the cardiac ICU, but I wanted to go back to school for DDS. Any thoughts?" You should shadow and observe some dentists in different specialties to see if that is what you can see yourself doing as a career, because you've already gone a far way as a nurse being in the cardiac ICU, right? That's like a specialized nurse area, and you know how to handle a lot. I think you'd be fine in dentistry, but I want to make sure that that's, that that's exactly what you want to go back to school for. And the way you do that is observing, shadowing, get an idea of what the career path of dentistry is like. Right? Hannah Bonanza said, "My FYP knows all my deepest, darkest fears, apparently. LOL, no offense. I'm just chronically ill and had..." Wait, I feel like you probably ran out of room on that. I'm sorry, Hannah. Had so many issues, LOL. Whoops. What's an FYP? What's an FYP? I'm not sure. Family. What's the Y for? What's FYP? Hannah. Amanda said, "How long did it take after graduating dental school before you felt 100% confident to be on your own?" Well, I'm not on my own technically, although I am many days in the practice, but I'm not technically on my own because I work for a boss, of who owns all the practices that I'm in one office, but he owns all the practices. But yeah, after dental school, I mean, in residency, you just kind of throw it in there and you figure it out. User 3274 said, "I had my Rutgers interview late September. What do you think my chances of acceptances are at this point?" I mean, that's a great time. That's a great time for oral surgery or for dental school. Which one? User 4457, "What do you think about dental anesthesia as a specialty? And is there a decent outlook for the future?" So I think dental anesthesia is great, right? I don't know enough about it. Someone told me in the comment section on the other day, they were saying that insurance companies don't recognize dental anesthesia. It's like they're not recognizing it differently or something. Like they're not reimbursing certain things for dental anesthesia. Now, I don't know what they were talking about specifically, but someone said that to me and I was a little concerned because it's a recognized specialty in dentistry and they're doing dental anesthesia. And I know that they should be getting reimbursements from, but I don't know. I don't know enough about it. There was something weird with that. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if insurance isn't covering things that they should, because that's where we are and we've been here for 20, 30 years already. Lena Thompson 334, "What is the biggest thing you believe made you stand out for OMFS residency?" Being unique. I mean, being a conversationalist, talk with these people on the interviews. I went to a good dental school and I had good scores and marks and stuff during dental school. And I think I had good letters of recommendations, things along those lines. Hannah Bonanza, follow the live creator. Thanks, Hannah. Steve-O said, "Did you use Anki?" I used Quizlet. I didn't use Anki. Anki's good. Anki, I have nothing against Anki. I just happen to like Quizlet. I loved Quizlet, the premium version with the figures on it and stuff. Nowadays, what you can do is plug in your study set into ChatGPT, tell it to put everything in question answer format, and then plug that into Quizlet, and you're golden and you're flying. Hannah Bonanza said, "Okay, wow, that was a really nice answer." Which one? Which one was a nice answer? Which one? Raul said, what was the process for applying to OMFS residency? So once you're in dental school, I think you want to first, as a D1, handle both clinic and like you're going to be in classes before they add on clinic. So handle those classes, right? Be really good, get good scores and stuff. Those are the didactics, and then they add on the clinic side. And you need to be able to handle all that to graduate dental school. So I would work on getting that stuff down, handling all that at once in your D1 year. After that, start studying for the CBSE. Towards the end of D1 year, hopefully, you get that down, managing both clinic and didactics. Start studying for that CBSE. You might have to take it a couple times. That's normal. That's very normal. Study hard for it. After you take that, then I would start looking into externships. Externships is when you spend a week at a program, getting to see what they're like, they get to see what you're like. You're assisting and helping out their residents. You're kind of just spending a week in the life of the residents in that program, right? After that, then it's going to be applications. Towards the end of your D3 years, when you apply to residency, you're going to put everything in there, letters of recommendation, personal statement, everything else. All right, that's the process. Goober said, are pimping questions common during externships? What to expect during them? It's going to vary from program to program. Yeah, some of them are going to be doing pimping questions, but I wouldn't get too worried. They're not expecting you to know how to do certain procedures. Just, you're genuinely interested. Just go for it. Just learn with the residents while they're learning on stuff before procedures. It's very, very normal to do that. Grandma's creamy cookie said, my prostate massages be fire. Sometimes these lives they crack you up, don't they? And Grandma's creamy cookie just got the number 3 gifter badge. Nice. Hannah Bonanza said, For You page. Your For You page knows you. I was on, Hannah Bonanza said, you were on my homepage / default TikTok screen where you doom scroll life away. But that doom scrolling can really affect you, right? Hannah Bonanza said, I had all the rest of my top teeth removed, no anesthesia. Truly traumatizing. Oh no, I'm sorry that it was traumatizing. I'm sorry about that, Hannah. That can be a lot. I do know. Hopefully you got a denture, maybe an overdenture, implant overdenture, because that could be nice. But generally just replacing your teeth with a denture or other options is great. I'm sure you've had that. Carissa says, what CE courses are you most interested in doing now? Right now, I'd like to go to Amos, and you get like all your CE in that weekend if you go. And that's what I'm looking to do every year. I would like to go to Amos, connect with other oral surgeons throughout the country, and maybe get a podcast episode in person with people while I'm there. Otherwise, CE, yeah, just learning more about all NXs. The IPS systems, all NXs, maybe zygomatic implants, stuff like that. KM, the dream _ said, is the treatment to get the jaw shifted fixed worth the trouble if it doesn't impact my eating? Look into what it would require to get your jaw, quote unquote, shifting fixed, okay? Because that's probably, there's different treatment modalities that can be rented. Some more conservative, some more invasive. You could look into them. What's going to fix it for you might vary, right? And another thing is once you open up that condyle, once you open up that TMJ area, that's the first indication that there's more likely going to require other procedures in the future. So if it doesn't affect your eating, this is not medical advice, just my personal opinion here, I would make sure you're taking it easy on that joint, but I probably wouldn't hop, skip, and jump into surgery just yet. If it's not impacting your eating after surgery, God forbid something goes wrong or it doesn't heal correctly, that will impact your eating. You see what I mean? So maybe just hold the line here for now, and monitor over time. If it gets worse, then maybe you consider it. But if it's not affecting your eating, your speech, it's just a little pop, click, shifting to one side when you open and close, that's pretty minimal. You know what I mean? Marissa said, what mistakes do you know of having gotten extern screened out? Be a good person. Be genuine. Always ask the residents while you're there during that week, like, hey, is there anything I can help you with right here? Just be a helping hand. Don't be sitting around in the clinic on your phone. Be, you know what I mean? Like spend time with them. Don't be annoying. You can ask questions and stuff, but don't pry. If you're there to kind of be supportive and help the residents and ask questions about the program, the application process, that's great. That is the best thing you could do. All right. Mo the Baker said, how do you handle the stress of undergrad and studying for the DAT and everything else for pre-dents? That's tough. You got to find your go-tos for handling stress in general. Breathing exercises are my favorite. Like in the moment, no matter what happens in the moment, you could breathe. No one's holding your breath, right? Don't hold your breath. In fact, that's not good. But breathe. Take slow, deep breaths. Don't breathe short, shallow breaths. You want to breathe slow, deep breaths. It's the best thing you could do. And create your own breathing exercise that you just habitually go to when you're trying to focus or you're trying to kind of relax. That's what I've been doing the last couple years, and it's been tremendous. It's literally been life changing. You could find your own like breathing exercise where you kind of get in all like immediately into kind of like a meditation state where you kind of just balance your inner state and you could just focus. It's great to use breathing exercises to focus before studying too. So if you're studying for that CBSE, Carissa, guys, think about having a breathing exercise that can kind of just immediately launch you to being in the mental state you need to be in. And that may take like 1 to 3 minutes, but at least you're in it now rather than waiting for a half hour to just suddenly be somewhere. So you said, how do max facts take teeth out so fast? Practice repetitions. Generally, the more repetitions you get, the more good quality repetitions you get, the better you get at things. It's for anything in life. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about dentistry. Like some people are born with better hand skills than others, but no one is walking into a practical in sim lab and getting 100% without having practiced anything before in their life. You know what I mean? Without having practiced anything on the little plastic teeth you practice on in the sim lab. No one's doing that. So that's the cool thing about dentistry is like you could get all the best grades in the world, but hand skills you need in this career path, and you need to practice. No matter whether you start at 0 or you start at 50%, you're not at 100, and that requires practice. That requires repetitions, and it's how bad you want it. You need to stay in that sim lab, and you need to practice, practice, practice. Get the reps in until you're there, until you're getting the scores you want to get. That's it, right? I think that's pretty good, right? It's not like you're born with it. This is like you need to work for it, and that's something that you don't get that in every career path. Makes sense? Carissa said, in scenarios where gap years are required, are internships or hospital-based GPRs better? Great question, Carissa. Great question. That's going to depend on your situation, right? For example, I know a lot of people are just saying like you should just do an internship. You should do a non-categorical internship. I disagree. I think you need to look at your application and say, okay, what was the missing piece of why I didn't get accepted to an oral surgery residency, right? If many times it's the CBSE wasn't high enough, well, then you need time to study and take that CBSE again. Are you going to have enough time to study for that in a non-categorical internship? Probably not. They differ, right? Some of them, they might allow you to have enough time to study. Most of them, probably not. That's a very busy year. Okay, EPR, going to be busy, yes, but probably more time than being a non-categorical intern on call, probably 5 to 10 times as much as a GPR resident. And therefore, in GPR, you're going to have more time to study for the CBSE. If you had a really high GPA, really high CBSE too, maybe that's not it. Maybe you do need a non-categorical internship to kind of bring up your resume, bring up your value as an applicant to oral surgery program, get some experience under your belt so that people can bring you on and know that you're already ready to go. You're fired up. You already have experience as an intern. You know how to be an intern. So something to consider. All right. Hope that helps, Chris. That's a big one to think about. User 44577, would you ever own a practice stock? Is that the goal? Yeah, if I'm owning it on my own, or even better, to be a partner in a practice. That's my goal. My goal would be to be a partner in an oral surgery practice. I don't want to be on my own. I want to be with a team because I've always come from a team background, and I'd like to implement, I'd like to contribute to a team atmosphere. User 445774349. Pre-dental, sometimes I get really nervous around patients. Any tips for me to get better at talking? Yeah, just practice. Just practice. Just do it. You can even practice talking to ChatGPT or Grok, one of the AI models, and say, hey, pretend you're a patient. I'm really nervous and I'd like to learn how to be better at talking. Try it. Practice. See what they do. I think you're going to be just fine. But remember, you're just a pre-dental student right now. When you're in the dental school, you're going to practice this. You're going to be fine. All right? Don't worry about it yet. Just focus on the things you got to do right now, your priorities. Hannah Bananza said, yes, I do. Literally had someone kneeling in my chair. Ugh. Live and learn, I guess. Many times we live and learn, right? Carissa said, I know. Oh, I lost it. I know the limit is 6 times to take the CBSE. Yes, but does it look bad if you have to take the CBSE more than 2 times? No, it doesn't. They can't see how many times you took it. Don't worry about it, Carissa. Just take it as many times as you need. You know what I mean? You'll be fine. Mo the baker said, how do you handle the stress of undergrad and studying for the DAT? Everything else for pre-dent, you got to do it. You got to go for it. You just have to go for it. You need to work on handling the stress. That's one of the lessons you're going to need to work on. And the stress gets worse. It gets harder. It gets tougher. It gets more challenging. The stress becomes more. Responsibilities get added onto your shoulders later on. All right. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing, Mo. Hannah Bonanza said, thankfully the part was after the fact the work was done and really great. I never felt dehumanized. Excellent. That is really good. No, that's super important. I never want to dehumanize a patient. Gosh, sometimes patients, they can really be mean, and you're here to help them. And some people, they just don't. I notice it's when they don't get what they want. And it's like, I'm not going to recommend a treatment plan or to do something that I don't believe in, or that, I don't feel puts the patient in safety. That's another thing, safety. And it doesn't give the patient the best outcome. I'm not going to recommend it. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like if patients don't get what they want, like sometimes they lash out at the provider, and that's tough because it's like, you want the best for patients, and sometimes they don't see what your recommendation is as best. And It's so hard because, it's your recommendation. But Carissa said, how many months did you think is reasonable to prep for the CBSE, and how many for the INBD while in dental school? CBSE, 3 to 5 months minimum. For the INBDE, 2 to 4 weeks, I think, is fine. For the dental school, the INBDE is the dental board exam. 2 to 4 weeks is fine with that, honestly. If you study for the CBSE, you're going to be just fine for the dental school boards. CBSE is a long, long process, and there's a lot that you have to learn for the first time. Yeah. Sam Miller said, "Did you find undergrad courses difficult? If so, which ones?" Yeah, there were a lot. Inorganic chemistry was tough. Organic chemistry, I loved. I really liked that. Physics, I think, was the toughest one for me. Physics was extremely difficult. I don't know what it was. Where I got A's in organic chemistry, and I did not get A's in physics. I don't know. Physics was tough for me. I was also at a engineering school where there were these Russian engineers who were teaching our physics courses, and they were tough classes. Here's another thing. The physics classes, they were graded based on 2 exams. You had a midterm and a final. Both of them were 10 questions. So if you got more than 3 questions wrong, you're not getting a B. You're not even getting an A or a B or even a C. So, like, it's pretty tough. Not reasonable. It said, Strong Island boys for the win. Strong Island, baby. Coming in hot. Nice. Carissa said, what tips do you have for applying for externships? Should dental school shadow many or one oral surgeon before externships? Maybe at your dental school, you shadow and work in the oral surgery clinic before. That's something to consider. That's a good idea. Kind of ask your older dental students at your school, like if you're a D2, SD3s and 4s, what they would recommend doing, where they would recommend going in your area, they would recommend to you to kind of get some experience before you go off in an externship at a program that you don't know anything about. All right, ask them about that because that's going to be a big thing. Liliana said, "What's your take on the newer airway-focused procedures beyond MMA, maxillomandibular advancement, like SARPI or MIND, MIND, minimally invasive nasomaxillary distraction?" I haven't done. I've done maxillomandibular advancement. I've done Lafort's. I've done orthognathic surgery. I actually didn't get to do a SARPI in residency. We almost did twice, but they got pushed back. The cases got rescheduled or canceled. Minimally invasive nasomaxillary distraction. I haven't done that. I'm not familiar with that one. Newer airway focused procedures. A lot of times, we're looking for all the surgery measures to fix the airway, and sometimes that's the only way to do it. Sometimes I would consider that there are other ways to work on the airway as well. You know what I mean? Carissa said, do you know anyone that is doing or has done Case Western's 5-year OMFS recidency? Yeah, I know a lot of people. I know friends that are at Case. I think it's an excellent residency. I really do. I think it's a very strong program. I do. EXO said, do you remember your undergrad GPA and DAT score? Yeah, my DAT score was a 21 academic average with a 22 on the PAT. My undergrad GPA ended at a 3.6. I got a 3.8 from Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey, and a 3.4 from NYU Poly in Brooklyn. That's NYU Tandon School of Engineering now. How many cycles did it take you? What cycles? I took the DAT once. I took it right after I graduated college. July 2021, 2016. That's when I took the DAT. Ali Abu Harthai said, how hard is it to match into orthopedic surgery? Is it realistic? It is realistic. It is very difficult, but it can be done. It's a great residency too. I got my buddy Omar Sarhan. Shout out to Omar. He's in Ohio. In medical school, and he wants to go to orthopedic surgery, and I'm pushing him. I hope he does it. I just hope he keeps his eyes out to other options like anesthesia, great lifestyle, but orthopedic surgery is excellent. I think it really is good. I just want to make sure that he's prepared for anyone's prepared for going forward, what to expect. Orthopedic surgery generally has, I think it's got a good culture. They're very smart. I like the orthopedic surgery residents that I worked with at NYU. I have one nut underscore said, hey doc, I'm graduating pharmacy school in May. I really want to do dental. Any thoughts on this? Yeah, Dr. Connie Wang, you should look her up. She did pharmacy and then went into dental school. You should check her out. She's got a podcast and everything. She's excellent. In fact, I gotta talk to Connie. I gotta get her on the podcast again. Thanks for reminding me, friend. We got to do that. Ybor89 said, do you prefer sterile gloves or exam gloves for extractions? Exam gloves for extractions is fine. Why do dentists fully gown glove? I'm not sure why dentists do that sometimes. I could see you doing that for implants, but for extractions, like the mouth is the dirtiest part of the human body. It's not necessary to do fully sterile gloves for the mouth. It's just not. It's the dirtiest part of the body. There's no way you're going to get it 100% clean. Unless we're talking about the implant going into the socket, having the blood be the first thing to touch the surface, that I understand. Sure. Carissa said, if you go back to dental school, what would you help you prepare for OMFS in general? I did it. It would have been studying hard for the CBSE and for classes and trying to minimize how much time it takes you to study for tests and courses by still maintaining A's. That was the key for me, and I figured that out with Quizlet. It was getting the repetitions on with Quizlet. So Jacob Doaga said, private practice or hospital? Private practice. Private practice all day, baby. I'd rather be my own boss or in my own setting, in my own comfort zone, rather than be in the hospital. Hospital is their corporate setting with procedures in the OR run by the nurses and stuff. It's great. I prefer the private practice setting. Darius said, yo, what is the pathway to becoming an OFS after graduating dental school, dental med? I mean, towards the end of dental school, you need to apply for oral surgery. So it's during. Carissa said, during interviews for OMFS, what are some questions you think impresses faculty? I mean, you could ask them, what's their favorite question that they're asked on interviews. You could always ask them if there's anything you didn't ask today at the interview that they would really like to let us know. You could also ask about like what's something that they're most proud about at the residency. That's something good, right? What is something that they're passionate about in oral surgery? Stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Jacob Doaga said, what's the best major before dental school? Literally anything. Make sure you get the prerequisites in. You can major in anything. You need to make sure you get the prerequisites in, the DAT, right, for dental school. But that could be like a minor even. You can major in something that you're passionate about, like a music engineer, audio engineer. I remember they had an audio engineer at Stevens, where I went to college in Hoboken, New Jersey, and that would have been amazing if I had majored in that. If I could go back, that might be something I would have considered. To major in music and music producing and such, and minor in pre-med, pre-health, which was the pre-dental area. Who knows? But yeah. All right, guys. Time to sign off. Time to get ready for tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate that, guys. The top 5 listeners that were on the live tonight, I'm going to be giving you guys a shout out in the podcast. This is TikTok Live number 79. Thanks for signing on, and I'll be giving you guys a shout out. All right, guys. I love you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much. I just edited my logo, by the way, the podcast logo. I edited today, and I think it came out really great. I want to know what you guys think of it. It's like the same thing, but now it actually has no typos. You made it with ChatGPT, so no typos in the logo now. Thank God. And yeah, I love it. I'm super excited about it. Maybe you are too. Goober said, "Peace out." All right, guys. Good night, guys. Have a good week. Let's make it a strong week. All right. Let's start strong. Let's do it.